Can police search your phone without a warrant? The law explained. Imagine you're driving home after a long day at work. It's late. The roads are almost empty. Suddenly, flashing blue and red lights appear in your rearview mirror. You pull over. The officer approaches your window. You hand over your driver's license and registration. Everything feels routine until the officer glances at the phone sitting in your cup holder. He looks back at you and asks, "Would you mind handing me your phone?" It's a simple question. But your answer could have serious legal consequences. Your phone isn't just a phone anymore. It's your photo album, your diary, your bank, your office, your private conversations, your location history, and in many ways, a digital record of your entire life. So what happens if the police want to search it? Can they legally go through your text messages? Can they read your emails? Can they open your social media accounts? Can they force you to unlock it? Or do they always need a warrant? The answers aren't always as straightforward as people think. Some of the biggest myths about police searches come from television dramas and social media, where legal rules are often oversimplified or completely wrong. Today, we're separating fact from fiction and explaining what the law generally allows in the United States. Keep in mind that criminal procedure can vary depending on the jurisdiction and the specific facts of a case, so if you're ever involved in a real legal matter, it's important to consult a qualified attorney. Let's start with one of the biggest misconceptions. Many people believe that if police arrest you, they can automatically search everything on your phone. That isn't generally how the law works. Years ago, before smartphones became part of everyday life, searching someone's pockets after an arrest might reveal a wallet, a few receipts, or a small notebook. Today's smartphones are different. A single device can contain years of messages, financial records, health information, photos, videos, internet searches, and even detailed records of where you've been. Recognizing just how much private information a phone can hold, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that, as a general rule, police officers usually need a search warrant before searching the digital contents of a cell phone seized from someone during an arrest. That decision changed the way digital privacy is treated in America. But here's where things get interesting. Notice the phrase, "as a general rule." That's because there are situations where the analysis becomes more complicated. Imagine you're stopped by police during a routine investigation. The officer asks, "Mind if I take a quick look through your phone?" You haven't been arrested. There isn't a warrant. What should you do? Many people panic. Some immediately hand over the phone because they think refusing will make them look guilty. Others unlock it without even thinking. But here's something many people don't realize. If you voluntarily consent to a search, that consent may provide a legal basis for officers to examine your phone within the limits of what you agreed to. In other words, you may have given up a protection that otherwise could have required investigators to seek a warrant. That's why it's important to understand that being polite and respectful doesn't mean you have to consent to every request. If you don't wish to consent, you can calmly state that you do not consent to a search. Never argue. Never resist physically. Let the legal process resolve any disagreement later. Another question people often ask is whether police can simply take your phone. The answer is different from searching it. In some situations, officers may temporarily seize a phone to preserve potential evidence while they seek legal authority to search its contents. Taking possession of the device isn't necessarily the same as opening it and looking through everything stored inside. That distinction is important because many people assume that once the phone leaves their hands, officers can immediately read every message and examine every photo. The law generally draws a line between securing potential evidence and searching through private digital information. Now let's talk about something that confuses almost everyone. Can police force you to unlock your phone? The answer depends on several legal questions, and courts have not always reached the same conclusions. One issue involves biometric security such as fingerprints or facial recognition. Another involves a memorized passcode. Different courts have treated these situations differently, and the law continues to evolve. That's why legal advice in a specific case should always come from a qualified attorney familiar with the jurisdiction involved. Regardless of how the phone is secured, investigators know that smartphones often contain some of the most valuable evidence in a criminal case. Messages can establish timelines. Photos may reveal locations. Call logs can identify contacts. Navigation history can show travel patterns. Cloud backups may preserve information even if something is deleted from the device. And in some cases, evidence isn't found on the phone itself but obtained from service providers or other lawful investigative methods. This is why phones have become central to investigations involving fraud, cybercrime, drug trafficking, violent crime, identity theft, and many other offenses. But here's something most people never think about. What if the phone doesn't belong to the suspect? What if it's your phone? Imagine lending your phone to a friend for the weekend. Days later, police contact you because your device may contain evidence connected to an investigation. Could they search it? Could they keep it? What rights do you have? The answer depends on the facts, the legal authority involved, and the applicable law. It's another reminder that digital privacy questions rarely have one simple answer. And as technology continues to change, courts continue to face new questions that didn't exist just a generation ago. Because the biggest legal battle isn't really about the phone. It's about something much bigger. How do we balance public safety with the right to privacy in a world where nearly every detail of our lives is stored on a single device? That question is shaping some of the most important legal decisions of our time. And it may affect every American who carries a smartphone in their pocket.